there it is. You don't need to see that. In about 2 minutes or less, I'll tell you a little bit about Telefia. Telefia is the world's largest mobile-related market research company, basically dominating our space. Did about $75 million in revenue last year, worked very closely with the carriers, but a variety of major media clients as well, from Google and Yahoo to Sony and NBC Universal, MTV, et cetera. Another thing I'd like to point out before we go into the numbers, we have a very, very unique methodology for obtaining our point-of-sale data. All the other numbers you're going to see are based on surveys. We do surveys too. We believe in surveys. We do more surveys than anyone else, but we also believe in point of sales. So the numbers you're going to see are based on actual bills. We have a bill panel of 35,000 wireless subscribers every single month where we're scraping their bill, so we know exactly how much was paid, what was purchased. We know all their demographic detail, and it's a whole lot more data-driven than some of the other sources available. So before we go into specific applications, I thought it would be relevant to begin by just looking where we are today. Essentially in Q4, it's a $4 billion market in mobile content. All of this is US data, by the way. We're only talking about US data in the next 50 minutes.
Are the charts going to be available, or we got to really rush down and
no, the charts are not going to be available. There's an old statement that you're supposed to show a little bit of leg. You're going to see, you're going to get the Britney Spears version today. But I can't give out our secret sauce. So, $4 billion market in Q4. Gosh. Try not to get too much feedback here. SMS is still the dominant contributor. But just notice the curve. And by the way, all data had about a 93% growth year on year. The far left over there is the universe of wireless subscribers in the United States. That's 227 million people who pay a monthly fee for a cell phone. 227 million. Now, among those 227 million, pay attention, please, to that box on the right. That's the penetration of specific mobile content applications. So, SMS, we've already reached the tipping point. This is going to be my nemesis. We've already reached the tipping point in terms of SMS. If you can see at the bottom of this box, we're at about 2/3 penetration in the United States, people sending SMSs. So if you're considering mobile marketing campaigns, this is no longer something that's 5, 10 years away. We're already at the vast majority of that 227 million wireless subscriber universe sending SMSs. Downloads is something that's interesting to a lot of people in this room and sort of one of the themes of this conference. Downloads includes games, audio, clips, wallpapers, et cetera. We doubled, between Q4 05 and 06, we doubled the penetration among those 227 million subs. So I think we're finally at a real tipping point in the United States. And just notice the shape of the S-curve in all of these different applications. Questions, comments, disagreements over here in the peanut gallery?
In the downloads, what's the average amount of data that gets downloaded?
Don't know. Kevin, does that?
Yeah, talking about like the average, the KB usage. A lot of it varies, so I don't know that offhand.
Yeah, video is very, very heavy, is a lot more heavy than SMS. It's difficult to sort of give you a standard response. I'd like to talk, though, more about downloads and break out the revenues among downloads. What I really want to point out on the far right there, if you look at the red and the yellow represents games. Games have a 7% penetration. They have a much more stable history. The red represents video at 2.7% penetration as of Q4. Why is that significant? Because their revenues are almost identical. Much, much higher ARPU for video. Hence, the carriers are very enthusiastic right now about increasing that penetration of video. ARPU is about $8.90 for video per subscriber. But I would like to also point out audio is fairly mature. Ringtones, ringbacks. We'll talk more in detail about all of these specific applications, but you're getting a sense of what's growing, what's stable, what's the priority. But it's still $750 million last quarter. And then finally, the specific applications themselves. I mentioned some of those penetration rates. If you look at the bottom box here, video is growing, 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 about 188% since Q4 05. Still, though, coming from a very, very small base. It's a 2.7% penetration. Ringbacks, by the way, ringtones, full track downloads, real tones, up to about 12% penetration in the US. Questions, comments?
What percentage of the video revenue is subscription versus non-subscription, like ad-supported?
It's about 100 to 0.
100% subscription, 0 ad-supported.
Right now in the United States.
So people aren't buying subscriptions to games.
Oh, I thought you meant video.
No, I did, but I'm comparing. So you say they have, you know, a fraction of the percentage of games, 7% versus 2%, get about the equal amount of revenue. So all that revenue is from people buying subscriptions to video. So that implies people don't buy subscriptions to gaming services.
It's less prominent. Kevin, when I'm about to hang myself, you can always interrupt.
So actually, I don't actually recall that number offhand. You know, it's in our reports, but I just don't recall it offhand. You know, a lot of the things that you can do with, like some of the premium SMS packages, you can buy $9.99, which allows you to either buy a game or it allows you to buy a ringtone or a wallpaper. So, again, we've got the numbers, I just don't know it offhand.
So what I'd like to do is cover some of those specific applications. Question?
Which carrier is doing the best job to nurture this market?
Highest data ARPU is Verizon. They've overtaken Sprint as of Q3. It does vary significantly by application. So Sprint is very, very good, for instance, in video. We'll see later that they're trailing significantly in audio. So it does vary, but Verizon has their act together recently. They have the highest data ARPU, followed by Sprint. But Singular, and this is very, very relevant, Singular has finally really begun to prioritize mobile media. And since about Q3, when they were significantly under-indexing relative to their voice market share, they're beginning to be a little bit more, there's more parity with their overall market share. So Singular has come on very, very strong. We're going to talk about video. They have a 14% market share in video. The last time we did this video report, they had a 1% market share. So Singular is really taking MediaNet a little bit more seriously. What I'm going to talk about now comes from our Q4 mobile video report. We use 500 current mobile video subscribers, people who have paid for video in the last 30 days in the United States. We have other sources, but they give us sort of a clear idea of who they are, what they're watching, when they're watching it, where they're watching it, attitudes towards the things they're watching, things they'd like to see more of, and advertising, how they tolerate advertising, how they would like to interact with advertising, recall, etc. So this is sort of an overview of the market. We're up to 6.2 million subscribers. So quarter, that's 39, 45, 52, and 21% growth. That's about 2.7 penetration. What we are seeing is more trialing. So for instance, Singular is doing downloadable snacks, i.e. Sex and the City exclusive. They just announced a WWE exclusive. That's good. That's increasing the universe of people who are trying mobile video. So it's growing, 145% just in this in video. Any questions, comments? Were you looking at my deck before I got here? Funny you should ask. So bottom left, MobiTV has about a quarter. Vcast has about a quarter. If you're a MobiTV investor, you like to see this slide because Sprint TV is powered by Mobi, and Mobi monetizes based on the underlying platform. Also, Singular's streaming piece is using Mobi technology. If you look on the right, this is just sort of a legend, a guide as to which service has which delivery mechanism. This has evolved quite a bit. I mentioned Singular Video. The last iteration had a 1% market share. Video was something that kept them up at night, that it might jeopardize the quality of their voice network. Media just released about a week ago, so that was Q4. A question I get just about every day: how many of these phones can actually do this stuff? The answer is about 15%. That's the red and the yellow on the left. It's about a 20% take-up rate among video-capable handsets. So if you're an optimist, that's an addressable market of 28.2 million handsets. If you like to see the glass half empty, 5% or 195 million phones that can't do video. Handset replacement is going to drive adoption. I don't have to be Einstein to tell you that, but that's really going to be one of the main drivers. Questions, surprises? Was everyone expecting a number like this, more or less?
Video capable means only over air, or it could mean
Any capability for viewing video. By the way, we define video to include television. The consumer wants to watch Desperate Housewives, and so from that perspective, we define video, which includes any kind of clip casting or streaming. Question?
You mean 3G phones?
Not just 3G.
2.5? What about that?
No, 3G. But 3G, and they have to have the capability, the functionality.
So you have 2.5 within the 194 million phones?
Yes.
So we've got 6.5 million subscribers.
6.2 million who paid in the last 30 days as of December 30th.
6.2 video-capable phones. Does that mean that basically everybody that has a phone is a subscriber?
No, it does actually. That's exactly what it means. People who are subscribing, 6.2 million. And they also have video-capable phones. So if I don't have a video-capable phone, I'm not going to subscribe.
No, but the other way around. If you have a video, are most people subscribing if they have one?
It's about a 20% take-up from that 28.2. It's about a 20% take-up, which is, I think that's pretty good take-up. Okay, next. Who are these people? Oh, question.
what are the problems in our market that make us so far behind countries like China and India? Like, why is it that this is our penetration levels with videos, streaming, and upload, download, etc., when other countries are so ahead of us?
What's wrong with the Americans, right?
Surprising based on
So we do the same thing in the UK. We're in 9 countries. The take-up in the UK is 3%. So I think that was true once upon a time. The United States tends to be very slow in reaching the tipping point, but like the SMS numbers, when we get there.
Is that a structural thing, like based on our mobile carriers and the domination of the marketplace? Like, what is that?
So, I mean, we're at parity with the UK, so I don't necessarily agree that we're somehow laggards relative to other countries. I think the quality, and we'll see this in the programming, I think the quality of the offering needs to improve drastically. Otherwise, folks will be very reluctant to part with $15 every month to see the same Fox News that they're paying $80 to see in their home. I think that that's what's going to drive adoption. We could see penetration rates of up to 3%. This very, very well could be a market of 80 million subs. But there needs to be more, the same way Lonely Girl 15 came along and changed the way we watch, we use the web, that needs to happen here. So who are these people? Real simple, I won't spend too much time on this. Males 18 to 34, that's a big difference from the rest of mobile media. Ringtones, wallpapers, etc., skews heavily female. Skews about 66% female, and yet mobile video subs tend to be males. A lot of that is driven by the cost of a data-rich handset. A lot of that is the expense, the $15 for VCast, $10 for Mobi, but they are males 18 to 34. A big surprise here, if you can look on the far left, that's the universe of mobile subs. So 3/4 of those people are white, and 10% are Hispanic. Now, look directly next to that on the far left. Hispanics are 3x more likely to subscribe to mobile video. 3x. Within that Hispanic group, we tend to break that out. It particularly over-indexes among Eastern Seaboard acculturated Hispanics, those who speak English in the home. And a minority of mobile video subscribers are white. Very interesting. And then finally, one of my favorite data points from this Q4 study. If you look over here, almost half of mobile video subscribers live in a home with 4 or more people. Something we really never contemplated a couple years ago as we were considering what would the usage case be. So in this case, it's not big screen versus small screen. It's small screen versus no screen. It's mom watching the cooking channel on the large screen plasma, and someone who just wants to get any quality television is watching in the home as well as out of the home. Questions, comments? No? Disagreements, agreements? Everything up here is exactly as you expected? No expectations? That's good. I like low expectations. They're very easy to surpass. We have a big blue dot up there. The point of this slide, again, the usage case. We had this idea a couple years ago that people would be snacking and watching little tiny short bits and pieces. Well, according to our survey, 4 out of 5 viewers are watching 5 minutes or longer per session. They're watching 5 minutes or longer per session. We lumped it all together. So they could be watching 5 minutes of Moby, which would be, let's say, Desperate Housewives as it's streaming on ABC, or they could be watching 3 consecutive clips of Jon Stewart that they've taken the trouble to download. So it's all lumped together. But this brings up a good point. A lot of colors on this slide. It's hard to read. If you look at the top bar on the far left, the blue one is 21%, and the gray one on the far right on the top bar is 22%. That's people watching at home and people watching out of the home. So quite a few people are watching mobile video in the home. Anybody here subscribe to mobile video? Do you watch it in the home? But you're not 18 to 34. That's okay. So looking at the left here, these are the channels that are available to mobile video subscribers. Among mobile video subscribers, 94% of them can access the Weather Channel. A very, very high percentage of them can access ABC News Now, for instance, 90% of them. That's good. That's interesting. That's really a biz dev story. Let's look at the other side. And this is fascinating, and this comes down to what is it that people really want to watch on their mobile video. And this, I think, gets to your point. Are we addressing preferences, viewer preferences? Among the top 7 channels, 6 of those, other than Fox News, 6 of those are entertainment related. So if you look at the left, it's a news, weather, and sports story. If you look at the right, the viewers are saying, we want entertainment. Where is it? What we've done here is we're capturing audience size across the different carriers, across the different applications. It's not fair to say that MTV has a 9% market share on mobile video because they don't exist on Mobi. They don't exist on some of the other carriers. But we can say that they have a 20-some share on VCast, 22% share on VCast. So what are you getting from this slide? I think we're getting that it's very similar across offerings. It's very similar to what you're getting back in the home on your set-top. And I would argue that there needs to be some new, innovative programming that's more appropriate to the mobile platform. Questions about video? We covered video. Everyone agree with everything you saw there?
I have to speak to this from this point, actually. We are trailing pretty heavily the markets. You know,
but not Korea and Korea and Japan. We are. Korea has 6 mobile broadcasters. 5 of them are ad supported. 0 of ours are ad supported right now. So of course that'll drive usage. As what we've seen that I didn't discuss is that there's an enormous tolerance for advertising with mobile video subscribers, current, present mobile video subscribers. There's a huge tolerance for advertising, but there needs to be something in it for them. And in Korea, it's but yeah, I would definitely agree with that point that the ad-supported model is coming. It's going to drive trial. It's going to drive adoption. And Telefy is ready for it, by the way. Yes?
How much time do people spend, say, per month watching mobile video when they subscribe?
So they're watching about 4.5 times per month. So I guess maybe 1 week. They're watching 7 channels. Even though Mobi, say, offers 40 channels, they're really only going to watch about 7. They're watching longer periods than we thought. So that is pretty easy to measure.
It's under half an hour a month.
Yes.
Did you how important interactivity is to these mobile TV subscribers, something you might not get with MediaFlow, but you would get with Mobi TV?
MediaFlow has the potential to be multicasting, so far, far more interactive than a simulcast Mobi experience. But that's just an aside. We do. I didn't put that slide up. I can if I go out of this deck. I'm afraid to do that, though, on the AV here. I think it's essential. I think that's, if I have any one point I want to make from the mobile video story, that's the point. And I started to allude to that before, that there needs to be an innovative multitasking rather than simply replicating the lean-back passive TV experience we have now. All we're doing is just replicating from a better platform to a less favorable platform. Getting directly to your question about interactivity, the usage case among mobile video subscribers is extraordinary. They do a lot of interactivity on their handset. 96% of them get on the mobile internet. So about all of them, basically 100% of them, are getting on the mobile internet. 10% of the 227 million wireless subs in the US. So their behavior is totally different. And yet that's not reflected in a mobile video subscription. I want to watch a little video, check my Yahoo Mail, and maybe even upload an MMS, which 2/3 of mobile video subscribers do. And I can't. And the first programmer, the first carrier, the first service that offers that is going to grab the market share.
So you're not saying, I'm just trying to differentiate. You're not saying about that it's really about interactive programming. In other words, you're not expecting necessarily Sex and the City to become interactive, or are you?
It's not for me to say what HBO is going to do. I'm saying that
innovative programming. Are you suggesting that for the mobile space, that if Sex and the City were become, I'm just using an example, were to become more interactive, that is, you could buy the sunglasses, purchase the shoes, whatever. That well to the mobile customers as opposed to a lean back 10-foot view?
My point is that it's a different usage case when you're multitasking on the go, and that's not available right now. And you mentioned basic m-commerce, and I don't particularly think that's very attractive to me either.
You're really talking about being able to multitask on your mobile set. So you're watching the video, but then you're going to send a message, check your email, whatever. And
I could upload an MMS to the internet, to others in the community. 66% of the mobile video subscribers are doing that versus 3% of the overall wireless sub universe.
So you're talking about a multitasking environment.
I am. That's the goal.
I was thinking more of a time-shifting type interactivity, where you're choosing your programming, so you can interact with your mobile TV differently than you do with your broadcast TV.
All the above, I agree, but I still think that it needs to no longer just the set-top experience. That's my 2 cents. We're going to zip ahead now to internet. WAP Web, about 26 million users, if you can see the red button on the right, in December. On a quarterly basis, that's about 75. And you can see it's still growing. That revenue is for subscription to the internet service from the carriers. So that's not advertising revenue. But it's at about 28% penetration. That means that's a pretty significant. By property, by brand, by demographic, by gender, we're breaking this out for about the top 225 mobile sites. So Yahoo is a brand that's in the bottom right corner. Yahoo Mail is the most trafficked site, the largest unique audience among basically all demographics. And we'll do a demographic breakout on the next slide. Stuff that people are accessing on their mobile internet. So as a result, we don't see this as a mobile internet story or a PC online internet story. We see a total internet experience. That ESPN has a relationship with their consumer. Yahoo Mail has a relationship with their consumer. And it may be on the PC online internet. It might just be on the WAP web. And so we do actually, and I'll show a slide from this, we partner with ComScore to tell that total web story. These are the categories. Email and weather are still the most frequently, by far, trafficked sites, followed by sports and news. I will point out, if you look at the far right there, adult. Everyone expects adult to be dominant in mobile internet, and they're always quite surprised. That's really not available in this country. And then breakouts by gender, by age. Major differences, kids play more games, 13 to 17-year-olds. 18 to 24-year-olds do more social networking. But all in all, there's a lot of similarity across age groups, quite surprisingly. Yahoo Mail dominates, ESPN dominates. I think we're more alike than we are different. I mentioned the cross-indexing. Questions about the mobile internet? I kind of zipped through that. Questions, comments, disagreements?
How much, I don't know how to measure it, but how much do you perceive that people use mobile internet versus other forms of internet access?
So that would be reach. Yeah, we don't have that slide with us. Well, less. They spend less time. It's the nature of the platform. They spend less time. What we do is we break out. One of our measurements is gender, one is demographic, one is age, income, but another one is the amount of time they spend at a specific site. And it's less sticky. But they go more frequently, for instance, to Yahoo Mail than some other sites. And that's why the usage case for email was higher.
Do you have any information on mainstream websites, Yahoo, New York Times, and so forth, that have mobile websites using the .mobi domain extensions?
Kevin, do you want to .mobi?
I don't.
Honestly, it's not. It's really not dominant right now. We care about unique audience. We don't care what the URL is. I don't think we're seeing.
Well, I mean, are they creating made-for-mobile websites versus just browsing the standard full-screen websites?
Sure. That's part of the consumer experience.
Korea is about the size of Indiana. Have you guys done any analysis to see how coverage and capacity have anything to do with how people consume this type of content?
We have a great study of the state of Indiana, though. You would love that one. Korea is a special market. We've done some studies over there, but not exclusive to the mobile internet. Keep in mind, it's a penetration story over there. There's about 40% 3G access penetration. That's very helpful. Mobile internet. Anyone? Questions, comments? Everyone still awake? This guy in the blue right here? You're still awake? Okay.
So just a Lonely Girl. Does Lonely Girl product make it onto the domestic marketplace right now?
We can go back. iFilm was the highest rated of the user-generated sites. iFilm on Singular was, I think, number 3. Rever and YouTube just rolled out in December, and this was December 30, so it was still significant. The truth is, an outside third-party mechanism to drive viewership aids the discovery process on mobile. The number 5 preferred channel among current mobile video subscribers was TV Guide. Remember, we saw those the 2 breakouts there. Was TV Guide, because discovery is a nightmare in video. Discovery is not easy even in mobile internet. And so fewer people are familiar with Lonely Girl 15 than are familiar with Desperate Housewives. And by the way, at the end of Desperate Housewives, as they're reaching an audience of 15 million, they can say, for more, go to. which is what MTV is doing, which is what even what BET is doing very, very well.
Question?
Sure.
You know the, oh boy, never mind. I'll get back to you. Sorry.
All right, don't mess with my video because you forgot your question now. Just kidding. Yes?
So if you're making revenue based on subscribers video, how is the content provider making money? Are you licensing it from them?
How is the content owner making money? Well, I'm no longer on that side of the business. But for instance, a content owner whose content is playing on, say, MTV, which is playing on different carriers and services.
So then you don't pick up MTV and then the content provider?
Yeah, Mobi, let's use Mobi as an example. It's a per month, per sub model, just like the world. So it's a negotiation. One of the reasons MTV is not on Mobi is because they want too much money. And they put on Mick Hip Hop instead, which is a much lower per month per sub. Fashion TV has almost universal distribution. A group called Comedy Time, they have almost universal distribution because they want a lower per month per sub payout. Now, how they pay their content providers, how Comedy Time pays their people, I can't answer that. But by the way, half of that average revenue per user is going to the carrier. So Mobi is keeping half, and then they're doing a rev share with all their, there's about 40-some channels on Mobi. So the carriers couldn't be happier. This is great stuff for them. Okay, the carrier, in the case of Mobi, they're an application that sits on top of Singular and Sprint. So they're sharing money because they're running on top of the Sprint network. They're sharing revenue with Sprint. Sprint has their own Sprint TV offering. Vcast has their own offering, and that's less than. Don't have to share that money with Mobi.
About $10 is subscribers' willingness to pay for the subscription. $6 goes to the content people. $3 is the cost to deliver, and about $1 goes to the carrier.
That might be Japan. That's nirvana for most of the people in this room. Japan, Docomo is something like 9% to that they keep, and the rest goes to the content owner. But in this country, that's not the model. What's the split in this country? 50-50. Games. Can we talk about games? All this talk about money and revenue, it's depressing. Anyone want to talk about mobile games? Mobile games. Whoops. Continues to grow. Let's focus on the blue part of this. Downloads are increasing. That's good. Cost of games are not increasing at the same rate, and so it's maturing, but it's still growing. $150 million in Q4. So revenue is growing, and we're at 7% penetration. Breakout by genre. If you look on, this is kind of the same thing. If you look at the pie chart, puzzle strategy still dominates, sports racing, and then it's fairly split among card, arcade, and action adventure. What is interesting, this skews very female. Because these are casual games and there's less role-playing games and kill-em games, this is very popular with females. And that varies by category. Did everyone already know that mobile games are favored by females? No? Well, they tend to be casual games like Tetris, Bejeweled, Ms. Pac-Man. Games. Yes. My great explanation, yeah. Thank you. 25 to 34 is the most common, that's the sweet spot. Female, 25 to 34. EA, formerly Jamdat, has maintained their market share. EA does an amazing job, something we do separately. They do an amazing job in terms of placement. They're very, very effective at getting on the featured and the what's hot decks. And there's about a 90% lift for a game that appears on a featured or what's hot deck. So if you're looking for EA's secret sauce, It isn't their bowling game. It's their ability to have themselves placed prominently on the carrier deck. Anyone here from EA before I get in trouble? That's our client, so we love them. Yes? Question? Anyone? Yes?
Do you know what the breakdown is for the revenue versus, is it, you know, pay to purchase the game, a monthly subscription fee?
So we do break that out. That appears on the bill. It's very easy for us to tell that. Free to fee conversion. I may have that slide in here. There it is. Percent free downloads. And this is a little bit hard to read. Can anyone actually read that, or should I read that out? Anyone? The answer is no or yes? All I need is one answer. Good. So you can see the free downloads. There is more and more trial. Primarily, percent free downloads, right there. And that's primarily Verizon. They're doing more trialing, which is something they're doing in Korea, which encourages usage. And I'm amazed it's taken so long in this country. But you can see the percent free downloads and the conversion. Top games, some of these games have been around for 1 million years. Tetris, Bejeweled, Pac-Man, Diner Dash, poker. If you want my 2 cents, which you probably don't, but it's worth exactly what you paid for it, and I'll give it to you anyway, we need to see more innovation in this category as well. Ms. Pac-Man's been around for 25 years. Bowling's been around for a long time. Tetris, Bejeweled. Show me something 3D. Show me something new. We might get more penetration, more people feel to buy the new and most recent game.
Already knows from other platforms are the ones that are selling on the mobile platform?
Absolutely true. And The Sims, the number 4 game up there, is a very, very good example. The console game was extremely successful. And just like we talked about in video, some third-party mechanism to drive the discovery process, that's what happened with The Sims. Most games are about $5.99. The Sims was $9.99 because it was already a familiar franchise. They had already created an awareness in the console world. And so they had very, very good download numbers, but amazing revenue numbers. They were able to extract a higher price point.
I'm curious if in your trialing you include preloaded demos on headset manufacturers and then conversion at the carrier deck. You do? Okay.
We do. So the question was about preloads, and do we preloads? Hi. And the answer is yes, because one of the reasons we do point of sale instead of survey recall, if I buy a Sudoku game, I can't remember who the publisher was. Was it preloaded? Was it a free to feed? Was it part of a subscription bundle? Did I pay $5.99 or $6.99? So we definitely we clarify that as to preloaded and converted.
Not directly from the
Yeah, 74% of games are purchased on deck, which means 26% in terms of revenue are off deck. The download number is higher. It's about 37%. So games are being, about a quarter of games in this country, and this is much lower than Europe, about a quarter of games in this country are being purchased off deck, but generally at a lower price point.
Trending up or down?
Up, but not as fast as most of the so-called pundits believe. I would be a so-called pundit. Yes?
Do we know what the part of the 3D games among this?
They're doing well. They're doing well. Superscape comes to mind. That's a customer whom I'm working with. They've made the top 5 on Verizon, but 3D is really Verizon-centric right now. So it's having an effect, but we're not seeing that on all the carriers. Okay. It's quite a bit about games. The only thing I want to point out on this slide is similar to the last slide about the capability of the handsets. If you look in the upper right corner, percentage of games that are game capable in the United States versus percentage of games that are not game capable. 4 out of 5 handsets are game capable in the United States. So we have a much, much larger addressable market for games. but we're still at a 7% penetration. So again, I think it's time to move on from the bowling, from the Tetris, from the Bejeweled, from the Ms. Pac-Man, and innovate. Because there's a lot of handsets that can do this stuff. More interestingly, those who have recently purchased a device, it's a much, much higher percentage of game-capable handsets. And it's all about handset replacement. When people get the new handset, they need 3 ringtones, they need a couple games. That's the big tipping point. Bottom right, we also measure which handsets people have been using when they made their purchases. So in Q4, it was still a Razer story. Razer has done an amazing job. And if you're in the game space, you need to be cognizant of, for instance, these 5 models so that you're optimized on any of those 5 models. Comments about games? Disagreements? Anyone? Everything is exactly as you expected? Higher revenues, lower revenues?
Any data about passback model with kids? Moms passing their phones back to their kids to entertain them? I mean, do you try to segment out that type of usage, or is it just lumped into male, female demographics? You're not really kill the onion anymore?
Yeah, so maybe it's my MBA bias, but we're all about the revenue. We like revenue. Yes?
You say Brew in Java. Where's Microsoft's mobile operating system on that platform?
Kevin, as far as Brew and Java split there, any comments?
Yes, within our panel, the Microsoft operating system is it's just a really small penetration at this point right now. Still.
You said maybe the solution is more interesting games. How about ad-supported games? I saw something as much as 50% web games are supported through advertising, or 50% of revenue comes from advertising, as does come from the game itself. How about that?
Every advertising, and we do a lot of advertising stuff, and unfortunately I was concerned about the time and I didn't bring those slides for our discussion. All the data we do about advertising over and over again tells us that there's a high tolerance for advertising as long as there is something in return for the consumer. Across application, time and time again, over and over again, that there is a high tolerance for advertising, but there needs to be something in return for the consumer. And I think games is a great example. Ringtones is an amazing example. Unfortunately, I can't throw a data point up right now. But video, games, all that, over and over again, we hear that advertising is tolerable, but make it compelling for the consumer. And then I mentioned before there was a question about off-deck. About 1/4 of revenues are coming off deck, but about 37% of downloads are coming off deck. The only thing I want to point out on this slide in the upper right is the 90% lift from being on the featured deck. 90% lift. So placement is very, very important. Last application that I want to talk about is audio. Mobile ringtones. We're about a 12% penetration in the US. So this is significant. But we're also seeing a mature market. If you look there on the top, we're stabilizing in terms of revenue. However, the revenue composition is absolutely in flux. And so what we see is a decrease, a significant decrease in polyphonic and monotone ringtones, that's the yellow, and an increase in real tones, and a growth in ringbacks as well. What we don't see here, surprisingly, is full track downloads. It's almost negligible. There was a lot of froth about full track downloads. This could be a new game changer for mobile audio. We haven't seen that for a variety of reasons, not least of which is price point. It's about $2.50, and we all know what it costs on iTunes. Comments, questions?
If they change the price point, they'll get more stuff.
That's my view. It'll be interesting when iPhone rolls out, because if a song on iTunes is 99 cents, I think you can guess what it's going to cost on the iPhone. And I think that'll be great for the market. That should stimulate a lot of trial.
Do you think DRM has anything to do with that? I know on Verizon, if you download a song, you can only play it on that phone. You can't put it in your iTunes or anything like that. Are they going to open that up, or are they still going to stay?
Not if they can help it.
How many phones can handle a full trek? I mean, my phone will only handle about 20 seconds.
So the data point I've seen for MP3 capable handsets was 13%. 87% are not MP3 capable.
But you can't do a ringtone more than 20 seconds.
It's time to upgrade. Next questions. Anyone? Yes?
Do you have any numbers for mobile radio?
Mobile radio is interesting. It's a good question. Among applications, it's prominent, the music category. Sirius Music at one point had about a 6% share back in Q3. I didn't bring anything for the applications, the downloaded applications segment. Offhand, though, the most recent application revenue breakout, 6 of the top 10 were location-based services, whether it was Navigator or MapQuest. In the most recent Q4, 6 of the top 10 downloadable applications were location-based services. So music has a place, for sure. It's just, it's been a pretty low number, single digits. The poll? Good, 5 minutes. So you get a sense of the mobile audio space. I'm not going to belabor the point too much. There must be some more questions before we wrap up. I did want to point out one thing, and I'll get to your question in a second. Somebody asked about relativity among the various carriers. In the audio space, for instance, take a look at the top left there, the dark blue / purple. That's Sprint. Has about a 25% market share overall, but only a 12% mobile audio share. But then they do tend to over-index, as we saw before, with mobile video. So different carriers are stronger and weaker in different applications. Overall, Verizon is the highest data ARPU, over $7. Number 2 is Sprint, which is actually falling, and Singular's beginning to focus on this space. And still under-indexing, but at least making some significant movement. So I think we had a question? Yeah. Yes?
I think you said you've got 12% penetration in audio and you've got 13% penetration with audio-ready phones.
No. Overall, among the, so if you look at the bottom left here, 12% penetration of audio products among the 227 million mobile subscribers in the United States. Now, within that breakout for audio, ringtones, real tones, ringbacks. Ringbacks had a 13% composition of the mobile audio downloads.
How many subscribers have audio-ready phones?
Audio-radio phones?
He was referring to MP3 players, so you don't need an MP3 player phone in order to purchase a ringback, for example.
What's your thoughts on how the MVNOs like Amped and maybe Helio and mobile ESPN were able to get 3+ times as much in the content as the carriers are?
The carriers are, they're very good at what they do. They deliver voice. That's still by far the overwhelming revenue contributor. The carriers do that very, very well. I think Amped announced 100,000 subscribers. That's great. I'm happy to hear that. A very high, they claim to have $135 ARPU, but 100,000 subs is very small relative to the 61 million Singular subscribers, relative to the 58 million Verizon subscribers. And so there is a place for that niche player. I think the big players are going to drive the market, and the MVNOs are going to do what they do, and I think they're doing a good job.
Are they making the discovery easier, or is the content better, or are they just, so why are they?
Content is superior. I think it's also demo relevant. Before Telefia, I had my own channel on Sprint, and we used the word orgy, and they took down my entire channel. So you can use the word orgy on Amped. You could probably well. Yes?
Is MediaFlow's product on Verizon going to compete with Vcast, or is it going to eliminate Vcast altogether, or what's?
Yeah, that's the question they were asking. Vcast. They priced it so that it wouldn't cannibalize. It's $15, and you can get the $25 all-you-can-eat pack, which includes their VCast. So the pricing model was meant not to cannibalize. I think it's great. By the way, one of the reasons it's such a copycat programming might be because of VCast. I don't know, but it's very, very similar to everything else out there. It's the same 8 channels you can get on your MSO box. It's the same 8 channels you can get on all these 4 offerings. Listen, the quality is going to be great, and I think it's good for the market. The latency between channels, Mobi can take 7-8 seconds to go from one channel to the next. It's a long time to go from a L'Oreal channel commercial to an Anheuser-Busch commercial.
Hide it from the employer.
VCast also allows you other things like access to their mobile web. It allows you to their access to their video, things like that. So, you know, yeah, I think Verizon's really trying to get that $25 package out of you, which gives you VCast, which gives you access to the media flow plus the additional services as well.
Yeah, one thing, I'm not one to usually praise the carriers, but I will definitely give VCast credit. They are differentiated in their offering. They've launched Rever, YouTube. They have much more unique, differentiated content relative to the others. Works. Questions? If you yawn, you get you're on the spot. No. Other questions? All right, we're getting the hook. Thank you very much.
Did you tell people how to reach you?
If anyone wants to reach me, just grab me and give me your card, and I'll reach you.
Thank you, Levi.
Sure.
We are going to.